Anyway, I'm waffling. Callie, Monica, Becca, Ashaya, Vanessa, you all probably have questions. So Monica, yes, you have it.
Hi, I'm Monica.
Hi, darling. Hi.
I just want to know how you prepare for a role. Lately, you know, when I've been doing these classes, when we pick a scene, I find it difficult to get into like my character's head and my mindset. So I do what I do best, what I did in college, and I do actually research on like the time period and the women and like who I could roughly possibly be portraying in the scene. And I was just wondering what are your tips for getting prepared for a role?
You know, it's funny, most people, like not most people, but I see other actors sometimes, or like, you know, they get the sides for an audition or something, or the scene that they're working on, and they start breaking it down. But I'm not trained at all, and I didn't go to school for acting, and I also couldn't afford any drama classes in my early 20s. So I started working before I'd really started taking any classes because I was so poor. So I got really lucky considering how untrained I was. So I didn't learn really, I was never taught how to like break down a character and break down a scene and learn all these like really important building blocks that they teach you in acting class. So I have then learned it, you know, and do the things that you're already doing, right? Like, you know, researching the time period and thinking about who that person is, and, you know, thinking about what their relationships are and their backstory. And you can write all that down, and that's all really important. But I'm still stuck on what I started doing in the beginning, where my process is I learn the lines first. Whereas most people sort of break it down and then figure out about how to get off book. But I learn the lines first. And then as I'm now speaking as that person and I'm running it, I start to then feel like that person. So then the ideas about who she is and how she feels almost start to kind of happen and go through me. And it sounds stupid, but that's kind of like, it's kind of like how, I don't know, it's a kind of like feeling her, and I can't really feel who she is until I know what she's saying, and I don't know what she's saying until I know my lines. So I do typically tend to sort of, I like getting off book first, because then I'm not thinking about, oh, what's the next line, what am I thinking? That bit's already taken care of. So it's more about, what am I feeling in this moment and why, you know, and what's really going on underneath. And I think someone gave me some acting advice. I remember I had enough money to work one-on-one with someone for an audition. It was a really important audition. And this woman stopped me and she said, "Are you listening to me?" And I'm like 21, and I was like shitting myself, and I was really nervous. And I was like, oh, I hope this goes all right, because it's cost me a lot of money. And I'm like, what? And she went, "Seriously, are you listening to me?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to you. She's like, are you? And she's like, I want to do it again. And don't worry about the lines. You already know the lines. That the lines aren't interesting. I really want you to listen to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying to you is really fucked up. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we did it again. And I don't know if I said the right lines or anything, but I really listened to what she was saying. She was like, there you go. That was fucking interesting. I would book you based on your reaction. And she said to me, she's like, when you watch TV and film, look at what the editor picks, like in a scene when there's like an amazing conversation going on. Who are they cutting to the majority of the time? They're not cutting to the person that's speaking. They're cutting to the person that's listening, that's receiving the information, because then you as the audience are like, oof, you're feeling what that person's feeling. It's the receiving of the information and the listening that's more interesting. And that really resonated with me. And it really made me realize how important listening is in life, which most people don't listen anymore, but how important listening is in acting, because that's the magic when you see on shows, and when you get like hashtag all the feels, it's like, oh, it's the listening of it. And that really, really changed my career for me.